Hi guys, my name is Andrea. I'm life coach at my own company called Finding Flow, where I guide students and young professionals from that feel stressed to move into flow so that they can fulfill their potential and lead the kind of life they want to lead so that they are happier. What I do as well is that I guide students in writing their thesis at the Bachelor of Human Resource Management. And by having conversations with those students and as with other students and with colleagues, they have inspired me to record this podcast about feeling stuck and moving into flow. And my own experiences have inspired me as well. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And I'm hoping to to shed some more light on your situation so that you can create more flow in your life and be happier and be more fulfilled. Let me start by telling you a little bit about flow. And I will break it down into 3 elements, which are behavior, thoughts, and emotions. And I will tell a little bit about flow and about feeling stuck and what kind of behaviors you encounter, what kind of thoughts, and what kind of emotions. So, because there lie the tools that you can use to move from one into another by basically changing your behavior. So, let's have a look. Flow. What is flow? Flow was investigated by scientist and positive psychologist Csikszentmihalyi. And he's talking about flow, which is a state in which you're in when you're totally submerged into an activity, where you become one with an activity because you're doing something you really love to do, you're passionate about, and you're good at. You're challenging yourself, your mind is fully occupied with the thing you are doing. So flow is a really positive mindset in which you absolutely cannot worry because there is no place to worry. Flow is about knowing what you're good at, having a clear direction, having a clear path of things you need to do, having clear goals. So basically you just know what to do and it is aligned with who you are. It's aligned with your thoughts and your emotions. And that makes everything just flow freely. And so you're not only happy, but you're fulfilled. And fulfilled is a deeper state, a deeper feeling than is happiness. So let's have a look at the other side of the spectrum, which is feeling stuck. And that is where energy just doesn't flow, where you feel exhausted, drained, tired, where there is where things are negative. And let's have a look at what kind of behavior is involved when you feel stuck. Well, most likely what will happen is that that you don't do the things you are supposed to do, that you're not doing the things you like to do, or that you want to do, or you're not able to show your passion. You might even be in withdrawal, meaning that you are seeking a place where you can be on your own, so you can just not do the things you need to do. Maybe you're withdrawing from being around people. Maybe you have a stress reaction, like a freeze, a flight, or a fight reaction. And the freeze reaction, a typical behavior might be that you are watching your screen and you need to produce something, but just the words don't come out, they are not flowing, and you're basically, you feel stuck. So there are all kinds of behaviors, like procrastination is really an element and a sign that you're stuck, watching social media all the time or being on Netflix too often. So all kinds of things to avoid doing the things you really need to do, and that would actually make you feel better about yourself. So when you have a look at what drives behavior, then 2 typical elements that come up are thoughts and emotions. So when you would like to change behavior, you would need to figure out what are you thinking, what are you feeling, and you would need to change from one to another by doing the right things. And that sounds quite easy, and sometimes it is really easy. And sometimes when the situation is more complex in your life, then you need to do some more things. And sometimes it's trial and error what will actually work out. So what I will do in this podcast is briefly explain what kind of positive emotions and positive thoughts are involved when you're in flow, and what negative thoughts and negative emotions are there when you feel stuck. And I'd like you to listen carefully and investigate while listening, to tune in is what it is that you recognize in your own life, so that you can use this podcast by realizing, analyzing, creating awareness about where you stand. And it might be with a specific situation or in life in general, whatever it is you would like to focus on. So let me start with the, I believe to be more easier part. It's the thinking part. And why is it more easy? Because it is it is already more tangible than are the emotions. And emotions are aspects in our lives many people tend to avoid or pretend that they are not there. So they are sometimes more difficult to point out, to realize, and to work with them. So let's start with the thinking part. When you are in flow, you are doing the things you are passionate about and the things you are good at. So, and you're challenging yourself. So basically, you are building confidence. So you have positive thoughts about yourself. You feel confident, which generates positive thoughts. So, yay, I can do it. I have a success. I'm good at this. I like doing this. All these positive thoughts, focusing on challenges, focusing on activities, on doing, on being proactive, being open-minded, being open for new ideas, being open for making mistakes by trial and error. So this entire mindset goes with the energy of flow. What mindset is linked, connected to feeling stuck? Well, obviously the opposite. It's most of the time, it can be that you're blaming others that you're in this situation, which makes you feel a victim and makes you unable to take responsibility to move away from the situation. What happens a lot is that you're judging either another person, but most often you're judging yourself. So that you're not satisfied with the things you're doing, you're blaming yourself for mistakes, you're beating yourself up, and that all happens in your mind. Perfectionism happens in your mind, where you are beating yourself up for things needing to be perfect, and you've convinced yourself that things need to be perfect. You've convinced yourself that you don't have a choice. So basically, you have all these negative thoughts which make you feel bad about yourself, and which make you stressed. And when it happens for a longer period of time, or with big things like, say, writing your thesis or a big project at work, then you might really feel stressed and might even experience high level of anxiety and even panic. So there's basically a lot going on in your mind, a lot of worrying, a lot of doubts. And the question is, what do you actually worry about? Is it something you can fix? Is it productive worrying, or is it not productive worrying? And most of the time is not productive worrying. So that would mean that you would need to figure a way out to move outside of your mind. And you can do that by meditation, or by sports activities, or by doing a nice hobby you really enjoy to do, so that you're not in your mind the entire time. In another podcast, I will discuss something about optimism, which moves you away from the negative thinking into the positive. This is something that can be trained, but you need to invest. You would need to put some time into it and effort. Basically you would need to want to do it and be willing to invest that time and effort. But it's so worthwhile, I can tell you that. So then the next part, and which is the last part, and I will just mention it briefly, it's about emotions. And emotions is actually, emotions are complex. Sometimes you're not aware of actually what it is you're feeling, or you have mixed emotions, but these impact your behavior tremendously. They also have an impact on what you think, and the other way around. What you think impacts your emotions. So basically, when you are in flow, you experience positive emotions because you feel confident, you feel fulfilled, you feel happy. Other positive emotions that are involved are passionate, gratitude, compassion towards yourself, towards others. You feel free, free to be yourself, free to do the things you want to do. You feel loved, you feel blessed, basically all positive emotions. And these emotions, these are important drivers for doing and keep on doing the things you like. On the other hand, when you feel stuck, you feel frustrated, you might feel angry, you might be in pain. And I believe many people feel afraid, because fear is a very important driver for stress. And fear is an important driver of being stuck. And although in reality there might not be a life-threatening situation, we encounter specific situation as being as much threatening that our entire stress system is set off, and we either fight, flight, or freeze. So the question would be then, what does fear feel like, and where do you feel it inside of your body? Are you afraid? Are you aware that you're afraid? And next, what is it that you are really afraid of? Are you afraid of failing? That is an important aspect where many people are afraid of, or afraid of being rejected, afraid of not being accepted, afraid to make mistakes. It's all kinds of fears, and you would need to move and investigate where is it coming from, what is happening, and build confidence, self-esteem, even self-worthiness to move away from the fear and build trust, build optimism, so that you can actually do the things you really love to do. So I've come to the end of this podcast. We've talked about flow and the state of flow. We've talked about feeling stuck. And I've broken it down into behavior, thoughts, and emotions. And I've already given you some elements, solutions, things you can do to move from being stuck into flow. This is just to give you a broad vision on those topics and to have you realize, okay, where is it that I feel stuck and what is it that I'm feeling? And in the next few days, what you can do is either start writing in a journal more often so that you can investigate what it is you're thinking, what it is you're feeling, so that you can be aware of that and make other decisions towards what you do and make other choices. And so that in the next podcast, I will move deeper into one of the topics and give you some other pointers. If you have any questions or things you'd like to discuss, I would love to hear from you so that I know that what I can direct the next podcast on. Thank you so much for being here, for listening, for supporting, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.